According to the budget framework paper under scrutiny by the Ugandan parliament, the government hopes to get 14,104 billion Uganda shillings from domestic revenue and 1,477.2 billion Uganda shillings from domestic borrowing, compared to the 345 billion Uganda shillings in the previous year, which is a 35.4% increase. The Kampala City Traders Association spokesperson Isa Sekito says the increased government involvement in the local finance market will have a more diverse effect on the private sector. The government being the big borrower in the market, commercial banks will give extra attention to government due to it being risk-free, which will end up leaving out individual borrowers for fear of risks involved in private lending. Meanwhile, the number of cars made in the UK reached a 17-year high last year. About 1.7 million cars rolled off of production lines in 2016, a rise of 8.5% on the year before. The Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders says exports rose 10.3% to 1.35 million vehicles, a record for the second consecutive year. UK car exports to EU countries increased by 7.5% to 758,680 last year, accounting for half of all exports. There was also a big rise in car export to the US, where demand jumped by almost half, accounting for around 14% of all UK car exports. The UK has 15 car plants directly employing 169,000 workers and 814,000 across the sector. Finally, sales and profits slipped at Boeing last year, driven largely by lower deliveries of its military aircraft. The world's #1 airplane manufacturer made sales of $94.6 billion, down 2%, and net earnings of $4.9 billion, 5% lower. It said revenues were likely to slip further this year to between $90.5 billion and $92.5 billion. However, the U.S. economy also expects to deliver more commercial aircraft and to improve its earnings per share. In the period, Boeing made 748 commercial aircraft deliveries, down from 762 in 2015, claiming to have led the market for the fifth consecutive year. It also delivered fewer military planes, in particular its new CH-47 Chinook helicopter and its FA-18 fighter jet, while sales in the division slipped 7%. Reporting for Business Insight, I'm Josephine Gala.